Hi everyone, it's Mina from Team Tracifier. I'm co-founder and CEO of Tracifier startup. We are digitalizing trade using blockchain technology. Just need to organize my screen. Okay. So, sorry, I'm just organizing the screen. Sorry. Yes. Have you ever asked or thought why by every distraction, why supply chain processes is also disconnected? So here, let me tell you why. Because, we have three flows in every international trade. We have the flow of goods, the flow of documentation, and the financial flow. And all of these flows are connected to each other. So in this use case and the current presentation, we are focusing on the documentation flow because the flow of goods are not possible without the flow of documentation, such as bill of lading, invoices, certificate of origin, certification of testing in laboratories, and so far so good. So such information is currently provided and exchanged on paper or electronic form. However, the paper-based process is still prevalent in foreign trade transactions due to complicated business processes and lack of acceptance of electronic forms from customs authorities. So that creates some problem. The widespread use of paper-based documentation increases the opportunity for malicious behavior. It creates opportunity for fraud. The manual process of verification in supply chains make the trade very long. And the risk of losing the trade documents create high costs for companies and cause billions of dollars worth of annual losses in income. So at Tracifier, we are going to transfer these challenges to opportunities. So we are tokenizing the trade document and supply chain data and combining this with NFTs and blockchain smart contracts that allow us to automate the supply chain data collection and document verification process. So we are doing that with two modules. The supply chain track and trace module empowered by IoT devices, it helps us to trace the movement of physical goods, and we can even collect data from supply chain. And then with autonomous document verification tool empowered by smart contracts, we are automating the document verification process by legally binded digital seals and e-signature. So these two tools are kind of complementary and they're completing each other in a way that, as soon as the data is collected, it has been verified, it has been distributed among the supply network. So let me give you an example. Normally, in chemical analytical testing laboratories, they are normally engaged in every trade because you cannot sell any product in the market without testing that in laboratories first and then get a certificate, and then you can sell the product to the next supplier. But in this process, although if it's in email-based and digital-based certification process, it still includes lots of communication from laboratories. For example, laboratories are selling the certificate to exporter. The exporter need to send it to manufacturer. Sometimes manufacturer don't trust the exporter. Then they are directly coming to labs and say, hey, if this certificate I receive is correct or no. And the same is normally goes until end user, like retailers. Even sometimes retailers comes to lab and say, hey, if this certificate is correct or no. So what we are doing or how we are solving at Tracifier is we are transforming all these, manual and a step-by-step communication process, which include around 15, email, at least a 15 email communication to a, we are creating a shared ledger of documentation or a united place, which every user can have access to that. For example, as soon as laboratories are onboarding the system, are uploading the certificate, the exporters, manufacturers, certifieds, all of these guys, they have access, and they have also permissionable access. And using blockchain and NFTs, in this process, we can transform the ownership of data between these parties. So in this case, we are connecting the network together. We are managing certification fast and in real time, and and the process is also traceable. At the benefit of using this solution of optimizing the documentation flow is definitely, saving the business is around 10 days. It's based on our estimation and the use cases which we implemented. We are targeting the traceability market, and the market is also really growing worldwide in Europe, and we believe we can acquire 5% of this market until 2028 in Europe, because the market is really potential. Our business model is SaaS-based, so we have a starting point, and we are charging per extra document and users, and we are targeting the most of supply network players. Our target market or our competition is with two different markets: is supply chain management segment and also document management segment. But because we are blockchain based, we are and also we are, for example, using SSI credential with partnership with other startups, and we're using, like, for example, NFT, and definitely affordable pricing structure give us a priority to other two existing use cases. So I will skip this. We are currently recognized in the market. We have currently investors. We are in seed stage. We have currently paying customers. For example, we are working with CMA CGM, which is the third biggest shipping company in the world, located in France. We got fund from European Union and also Enterprise Singapore, and we had a very successful summertime, which we were able to onboard about 100 laboratories in our pipeline. The roadmap is about last year we all built our team and our MVP. We raised a fund, we joined different program, and we are making the third version of application at the Q4 of this year, and from Q1 we are looking to raise fund again to strengthen our team. And we were recognized in different programs, especially also from blockchain as a, we also were recognized as the winner of the German Blockchain Award in 2021 and different other programs. So if you want to know more about Tracifier, please feel free to reach the Supply Chain Management Startup Handbook and contact me directly, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina. So now we will move on to the Q&A. Yeah, we have 4 minutes.
Maybe I can directly start. So the first question that came to my mind is, where do you start your strategy, or how is your strategy to get your customers? I mean, there are so many people in the process, and do you start with the people who produce the product, or with the transportation companies, or what's your entry point to get your clients?
So our entry point and also our kind of USP compared to other existing solutions in the market is our connection with certification laboratories, because we have like the founding team have experience in the food and certification market, and we know like how important and important are, for example, testing certificate for especially the food market products. That product need to be tested, and this document are exist in several steps. So this is, I should say, certification market is our initially, but in general, if we apply that, in general, we are going toward the parties who are producing lots of document and papers. So we want to optimize that process. And because it's like kind of a networking effect. So laboratories are sending certificate to a manufacturer. So manufacturer need to receive it. They also need to subscribe to our system, and also the following parties.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hey Mina, I would have a question regarding your pricing and cost structure. So you were saying your SaaS model is costing $25. As far as I remember, it was annually. Is that correct?
No, so it's a monthly base, and it's based on the document which has been registered into our system. So we have a limited number of, for example, you can put 10 document and you have one user once, and this is the pricing.
That was my question regarding the cost structure. So as far as I'm concerned, is if as soon as you interact with a smart contract, there's a certain, well, if you use a public blockchain, and as soon as you interact with a smart contract, you incur costs, gas fees, right? So yeah. Are you actually using a public chain, and which one is it?
So we are currently deployed, I mean, the current demo application is deployed in Hyperledger Fabric, but we are step by step moving toward Polygon. This is also the case. We want to use a public blockchain as well. But however, we have done an estimation that based on reaching, for example, around 60,000 certificates, we can fulfill our, break-even point and go into the profit phase. And this is very, very easily possible because every laboratory is at the current time in the market, there are at least, I mean, the middle-sized laboratory at least releasing about 10 to 20,000 certificates per month. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.